trailblazer in the Etobicoke branch, and she's a nutrition and fitness coach and founder of keepingitrealfit.com. In her early 30s, when I read this blew me away. In her early 30s, good nutrition and fitness positively changed Mimi's life. She's learned how to lose the weight and effortlessly keep it off for 15 years. What? Anyway, you guys can do the math, but it blew me away. She is a big believer that eating and moving well are key components to a happy, healthy body and life. Please help me welcome Mimi Louie to the stage.
I'd like to start by thanking all of you today for coming, and also thanking all of you for playing hooky today. For playing hooky from work or playing hooky from your family or whatever you're playing hooky from. We really appreciate you coming here and spending the time with us. I can't think of a better way of start the weekend either, right? Whoops, a little closer? Okay. So, when I got invited to speak, and thank you, Nat, for inviting me to speak today, I was thrilled because I knew this year the Spring Summit theme was going to be pure radiance. And I get to talk about radiant health to a group of happy, healthy women. I'm like, okay, this is going to be great. These are my people, right? This is going to be a great audience. So when I started thinking about what radiant health is, because today what we're going to do is, we're going to talk about radiant women and what exactly is the secret to being radiant. So when I thought about radiant health, I thought of someone that probably feels a little bit like this. Right? She looks pretty joyous, I'd say, very energetic, full of self-confidence, quite radiant, right? I don't know her, I found her on the internet. But, you know, I just want to call her Ava because I've always liked that name, so we're just going to address her as Ava throughout this presentation. But she's radiant, right? So let me ask the audience here, who here knows of somebody that just sort of beams with joy? No, very energetic, pretty self-confident all the time, radiant, right? Who knows someone like that? People that just exude this energy that you want to be around. Like you, Natalie, you know, our fearless leader. But that's what I'm going to talk about today. Like, what exactly does it feel to be radiant and also to be healthy? Okay. So I just want to say that not everybody, not all forms, let me put it this way, not all healthy comes in a certain shape. Many times we think of healthy as, you know, how we look, right? But many times healthy, you can't see from the outside because it comes from within. And that's great. So healthy comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms. But I want to know, what is their secret? You guys wonder, like, what is the secret to these radiant women? Like, what's in their water? What are they drinking, right? I want some of that. Well, I'm privileged to let you know that I actually get to work with these type of women every day in my business because they don't necessarily come to me all, you know, joyous and energetic, self-confident, but they do come searching for it because they want to feel better or look better or perform better. So my job is to help them look better, feel better, and perform better. And it's great to do. I'm blessed to actually do this kind of work because I get to help women look as radiant as Ava. So it's really an enjoyment for me to actually see them, look at them in the eyes and see them transform. Plus I get to wear cool sneakers every day, you know? Isn't that like a big bonus? I love wearing sneakers. I couldn't do work without them. Okay, so as Carla mentioned, I am a certified fitness and nutrition coach. I'm also a certified personal trainer and the founder of Keeping It Real Fit, which is a coaching service, a fitness and nutrition coaching service just for women. And I did that because I went through that phase in my life, like Carla mentioned, from my 30s till now. And I want to share that with women. I mean, I suppose I can train men too, but I really don't want to. So, like I said, oftentimes, like, healthy comes in all shapes and forms. But I do believe that how you feel on the inside, like how healthy you feel on the inside, can be seen on the outside. Because it comes through as your positive vibes, right? Our attitude, our presence, our physical body. That's all a manifestation of our what's going on the inside manifests on the outside. You guys agree? Right? If I want to be, let's just say, a health-conscious human being, I'm going to act that way, and it's going to manifest that way by like eating better, or taking care of my physical body, and whatnot. Okay. So although I like to think of myself as one of these happy, radiant, healthy women, it wasn't always that way, like I mentioned. It kind of started like when I was growing up all the way into my early 30s. I really didn't pay too much attention to what I was eating because life happened, right? And there wasn't really as much information as I remember now. Like we have so much information at the tap of our fingers, or we can look up anything we want on healthy living, or you name it, eating, food, fitness. But when I was growing up, which was sort of, I don't know, the mid 80s to early 90s was my impressionable years when I was going through high school and to university. You guys can do the math. I just don't remember that kind of information that was at my fingertips. But we have that now. So I didn't really eat very well, and that kind of lifestyle took me into 35. When I hit 35, that's when my metabolism slowed down. Almost like that year, I remember it so vividly. I just couldn't digest as well. It was easier for me to gain weight, harder for me to lose weight. Can anybody here relate? Yes. So I don't know what it was with 35, but it was just that year. So, and for anyone here that knows me, knows that I love food. Like, I love to eat. And not only do I love all kinds of food, but I am a quantities girl. Give me the big one, right? So I was thinking, okay, I'm 35, things are happening to me. This is not gonna go down well. What happens when I turn 45 or 55, 65, and so on? So I had in my mind, okay, I better learn something about food instead of just cracking open a can of something and dumping it on a plate. Because that's really kind of what I was doing. It was called convenience food, as I call it. But it wasn't good for me, right? So I had to figure out something about food, something about movement to get me back on track. And the more, so I read books and I followed the leaders in our industry, in the health and wellness industry. I looked online. I don't think podcasts were there, even available at that time, but the more I learned, the more I realized how important really food, fitness, health and wellness, all that is to not only our physical body, but also our mental state, our emotional state, our spiritual state. It's all around. So I actually thought it important enough for me to go back to school, which is what I did. I went back to school, went back to get my exercise nutrition certification, I went back to get my personal training specialist certification, and a host of other things, which brings me here to today. And then at the tender age of 44, that is when I decided to leave a pretty good corporate job to start keeping it real fit. So, so that brings us to today. Thank you. Okay, so these were kind of the brands. Like I mentioned, I grew up sort of in the mid-'80s and early '90s when I was still at home. And these were the brands that I found in our house a lot. Okay, my mom did a lot of the grocery shopping, and I'm one of 3 kids, and we wanted tasty foods. We wanted convenience foods, so this is the kind of food that we yang for, and we got it, right? And, love you, Mom, but I don't think she knew any better. Like, she just probably thought, okay, there's beef in the wieners, right? And there's raisins and honey in here. There's real OJ in the Tropicana. I think we're just so much smarter today that we can see beyond the marketing and read labels and learn a little bit more about what else is in that wiener aside from just beef, right? So this is the kind of food that we sort of grew up on. Not only this, but this was part of it. What wasn't available was things like this. I mean, we see all this today all over our supermarkets, right? When I was growing up, I'm sure it was around, but it was not in the mass markets. It was probably in the niche supermarkets. Now we find these at our mass supermarkets, which is great. because it means the consumers are waking up to healthier eating, and we're voting with our dollars, so therefore the shelves are representing this. But, you know, quinoa, chia seeds, like what the heck was a chia seed back then? I don't know. Avocados were thought of as a bad fat at one point. Now it's avocado everything, right? Coconut oil. Whoever thought of cooking with coconut oil? But we do today. We even probably put it on our face and hands. So, you know, peanut butter was the only nut butter on the shelf, but now it's got competition. It's got cashew, almonds, all kinds of nut butters, all kinds of seed butters. So things have changed for the better, I think. All right, so that brought me to starting Keeping It Real Fit, like I mentioned. And I started this business because I wanted to help women who want to help themselves. Who wanted to help themselves learn how to eat better, how to move better, how to perform better, because I went through that. And I, you know, through the education and also through just personal development, I learned how to do that. So I teach women how to eat to stay lean without deprivation, which is very important because, again, I love food. Also to move, fitness. Fitness is not just about exercising, it's about movement, daily movement as well, right? However, to incorporate it into your specific life, because we all have different situations. But how to do that without spending hours at the gym, because who wants to do that, right? Nobody. But you can do it within 20 to 30 minutes in a day, and that's all you need, really. Okay, so, next slide. I don't know about you guys, but do you remember, anybody here a member of the gym? A gym? Any gym? Okay, good, there's some people. But I used to be a member at a gym. I'm not anymore, but I used to be. And I remember going to the gym for years and years, and I never really changed. I kind of looked the same all the time. And so for those of you that are part of a gym or ever been part of a gym, you probably have seen those people that, because we're all on the same schedule, right? So you see the same people at the gym, month after month, year after year, kind of always look the same. And why is that? It shouldn't be that way, right? But it happens. And that's probably because I was there too. Like, I didn't know how to exercise properly. I probably just hopped on a bike or did something random, which is, like, it's just wasting time in my opinion. But to be strategic and to be to know what kind of exercise is good for your particular body and where you're at is very important, because we're all busy women. We don't have time, and that's who I serve. Okay, so I believe today we're going to talk about radiant health. So I'm going to talk about what I believe is radiant health, and I'm going to take you through what I call 6 pillars, key pillars of health. But I believe we all want to just give ourselves the best chance to live a long, quality life. Right? Not just a long life, but a quality life. I mean, isn't that what we all want? We kind of want to live blissfully into our old age and be as self-sufficient as possible till your last day on earth, right? So that's why I think this business is so important. Next slide, please. But I want us to know that, yes, there are some things that we cannot control in the context of health, and that is our genes, right? So our genes are our genetic blueprint for our body, and to this day in human history, as far as I know, we cannot change our genes, at least not legally. But I want you to know that genes are not our destiny, okay? Genes are not our destiny. There are things that we can control in the context of health. So what can we control? So we can control our decisions to want to be just a bit better every day, right? That's something that we can all decide that we want to be better and do it. We can do it right now, like this second, right now, we decide that. We can also control our attitude towards healthy living. So I love this quote from Viktor Frankl. He's an Austrian psychiatrist and neurologist. So he says, everything can be taken away from, he says man, but I say woman. So everything can be taken away from women, but one thing, the last human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And I love this because you can take this philosophy of choosing your attitude towards anything, not just healthy living, but anything. So if you, no matter how positive or how dire the thing is, you can choose how you want to feel and your attitude towards it, right? And the third thing is our epigenetics. You guys heard of epigenetics? Yay, one person. Okay, great. So, next slide, please. Epigenetics it's an emerging field of science, okay, that studies the changes in organisms, caused by modification of gene expression rather than the alteration of the genetic code itself. Okay, so what does this all mean? Basically, what it means is you can affect how your body expresses the genes that you're born with by controlling certain factors that control those genes. And I'll give you an example. Some people may be born with a gene that predisposes them to, say, obesity. Okay? Yes, you have that gene, it's in you, but there are factors that you can do to inhibit that gene. So there are factors that you can control, and I'm going to go through 6 of them today. Right now, today, if you wanted to affect how your genetic code or your genes are expressed. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Sort of? All right. So what are the 6 key pillars of health? The first one is nutrition. So that's the first epigenetic factor that you can control. Obviously, food's very important. What we eat, we need it to survive. But food is much more than just survival. It's much more than just fuel, right? Because what we eat impacts our mind, our mood, our physiology, and many other factors. The other cool thing is, I don't know if you guys know this, but how you absorb nutrients, so the food that you eat, is actually impacted by your thoughts, feelings, environment, and other factors while you eat. So think about it. When you're eating, are you eating in a relaxed state? Are you stressed? Are you upset? Are you in a rush? Are you eating in the car? Or are you actually sitting down and eating relaxed and happy and worry-free? All that actually impacts how your body absorbs nutrients. Food also tells a story. So, we are human beings, we're social creatures. We love to share food, right? It's in our human history, it's in our culture, it's in our literature. We talk about breaking bread way back when. Today we share food on Instagram, but it's the same idea. You're still sharing food, right? Food also says something about you. So the food that you eat, the foods that you share, the foods that you prepare says, I'm health conscious, or I'm a foodie, or I'm vegan, or I'm a mom. So it tells a story about you as well. But what exactly is good nutrition? You guys ever thought about that? So good nutrition, controls energy balance. So your body is smart. It knows when you've taken too much energy or not enough. So if you haven't had enough nutrients or energy from food, your body will start actually, it'll stop certain processes in your body that you don't need to survive with. For example, your reproduction, or certain aspects of your metabolism, even certain aspects of your brain function. So we want to take in enough good nutrients. And on the flip side, if you take in too much energy, i.e. overeating, your body also responds accordingly by, inflammation, high blood pressure, plaque in your vessels, increases your risk of certain chronic diseases, gaining weight, all that stuff. So we want a good energy balance, right? Don't need too much, and not too little. So good nutrition obviously gives us nutrients. So this image here on the side, there's 2 categories of foods. Right? Ones are high-calorie foods with low nutritional value, pretty much a negative impact on your health. It gives you nothing. You're just eating empty calories. And low value for your money, and it does not offset the cost of diseases. It may even contribute to it. And on the flip side here, you can see it's like more natural foods, whole foods, are low in calorie, high in nutritional value, good impact on your health, good value for your money, and also it does help offset the cost of diseases. So you want to eat nutrient-dense foods that give you the best bang for your buck, so you don't overeat and you're satiated, right? And that's what we want. So the second key pillar is fitness. So obviously there's so many benefits to fitness, and yes, I'm biased on this one, but trust me, ladies, you want to do this because fitness boosts your energy. It strengthens your heart, it strengthens your lungs, and it strengthens your muscles and bones. So it's very important for us ladies to strengthen our bones because over time, as we get older, yes, you heard, bones density goes down, so we are more susceptible to osteoporosis, and we certainly don't want to find ourselves in our later years falling or anything and, breaking bones. So it's very important for that. Exercise is also really good to boost your mental health, right? You feel better about yourself if you exercise, and if your body changes for the better. You feel good about yourself. You also will feel pretty proud, I say, of yourself if you can physically do something. So for many women that I work with, they may start not even knowing what a dumbbell is, but by the end of it, they can press, they can push, they can do all kinds of stuff. Sometimes even doing one push-up is a challenge for some people. And once they get over that challenge, it's amazing what the transformation that you see in them inside and out. So there's so many benefits to fitness. The third, I'm just gonna keep talking, okay? The third pillar is mindset. So mindset's everything, isn't it? There was a quote, I don't remember it because it was on a slide, but there was a quote by Buddha, and it says something along the lines of that your mind is everything, really. What you think, you become, which is so true, right? It's like, boom, he said it right there. So how we want to think about anything in life, whether it's positive or negative, it will impact how you see things, and then also how you internalize it and how you behave. The mind is everything, what we think, we become. So that was the quote I was talking about from Buddha. Okay, sleep. Sleep is the next pillar. Sleep is so important, right? We keep finding out more and more about sleep every day. Just one night of sleep causes sleep deprivation can make you insulin resistant as a person with type 2 diabetes. Just one night, guys. And that's like less than 6 hours of sleep. That translates into aging faster, storing more body fat, and a decreased libido. I mean, we don't want any of that, right? So get your Z's. The Canadian Medical Journal says sleep deprivation, which is less than 6 hours a night, is directly related to an inability to lose weight. Okay? Sleep deprivation is directly related to an inability to lose weight. So if anyone out there wants to lose some weight, you gotta get your Z's. Because basically what this one is telling me is even if you eat right, even if you exercise, even if you manage your stress and all that stuff, if you don't sleep right, you're just gonna negate all your good work. I mean, it's sleep. We all love it, right? So get some Z's. Quality sleep strengthens your immune system, it balances hormones, it boosts your metabolism, boosts your brain function and energy, does a lot of great things. So lastly here, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the glymphatic system? Yes? Yes? Somebody here said yes, perfect. So it's very much like your lymphatic system, which is basically it's a waste management system in your body. It collects all the debris from your daily movements and thinking and all that kind of stuff, and it collects it as a byproduct. And it's fluid in your body. The lymphatic system is a fluid. It's actually 4 times more than your blood, believe it or not. You need to move in order to get that moving. The lymphatic system is similar, but it's in the brain. It's a closed system because there's a brain-blood barrier, so that's why this is a different system. But it's controlled by your blood cells. And what happens is, during the day, as we're thinking, we're developing, we're learning, we're doing all kinds of thinking, byproduct gets produced in our brain. It's actually like it's called amyloid beta. It's like a protein, sticky protein toxin. And it's in our brains, and it needs to be drained every day. But we found out that the lymphatic system actually works 10 times better with the sleeping brain than the waking brain. Meaning you gotta get your sleep in order to get the full benefit of that drainage. Because you don't want that in there. You ever notice when you have a not so great night of sleep, you wake up and you're all kind of foggy? It's that stuff in there. So we want to sleep to give this system 10 times more ability to do its job. Okay, next slide, please. 5th pillar is stress. So we all know that we gotta manage our stress. Next slide, please. So what do? So purposeful rest and recovery is very important. We neglect this because we're all busy people, right? We don't take the time to rest and recover. It's about balancing your stress. So there's 2 kinds of stresses, right? There's the chronic and then there's the acute. So we want to make sure we can't get rid of stress. We know that. But what we want to do, because actually a healthy amount of stress is okay. It keeps us challenged, it keeps us alert. So we want to have some stress. But it's about the 2 sympathetic and parasympathetic states. So the sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight, and the parasympathetic nervous system is our rest and digest. So we want to balance the 2. In today's busy lives and all our things that are going on, we probably have a higher sympathetic state. There's stress from work, there's the bills to pay, there's the kids, and there's the soccer team, and blah, 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 blah. There's traffic. Like all that stuff raises our sympathetic nervous state, which we don't want because over time, that will lead to chronic fatigue. What we want to do is bring up the parasympathetic state a bit more. So things like, what we did with Judy there. That was very parasympathetic, thank you. Meditation, or whatever it is for you that allows you to take at least 30 minutes a day of rest and worry-free time for yourself. That's one of the best ways to combat stress, okay? I love this quote that I found from the internet, so I stole it. It says, the best time to relax is when you don't have time for it. So when you're in the midst of stress and chaos in your mind anyways, that's when you need to rest and recover. Okay, the next slide, please. So the final pillar is environment, and I divide this up into physical and social environment. Next slide, please. So with our physical environment, these are the places that you spend most of your time at. For a lot of us, that's probably our house, or our place of work, or our car. I don't know, some people drive a lot for work, right? So, a lot of us here, I notice, are home-based entrepreneurs. Yes, we all put up our hands, I think. And so if you're trying to live a healthier lifestyle, is your physical environment at home, like your kitchen or your office, or wherever you spend most of your time, is it decluttered? You mentioned that too, right? Is it decluttered? Is it stocked with healthy foods? Make it really, really hard for yourself to eat junk food, meaning don't bring it into the house. So make sure your physical environment supports your health-related goals. Okay? Social environment. So this one's a bit tricky because these can be people that are close to you. So who are the ones that are closest to you, who influence you, who you spend probably a good amount of time with? And this can be online people too, because we're all part of online communities, right? A, do they know what your health-related goals are and your lifestyle choices? And B, do they support it? Or do they inadvertently sabotage it? Because that happens, right? And this can be, like I said, the people that are closest to you, like your significant other, your family, your best friend, whatever. So I know you can't just completely disconnect yourself from people like that, but you can spend a little less time with them. All right, so next slide, please. So those are the 6 key pillars of health, or the epigenetic factors that you can control regardless of your genes to impact how your genes get expressed. Okay, so I just ask you, look at the 6 and think about how you fare in all 6 areas. Because you actually really do need to fare well in all 6 in order for you to be optimally healthy and radiant. Because imagine that you eat well, you move well, you have a pretty positive mindset, you have a great support system, and you're managing your stress, but you can't sleep. Chronically, you can't sleep. Trust me, that sleep will take you down. You gotta learn how to just manage all of them and figure out where you excel, great, and then figure out where you may need a little bit of